you're someone who overthinks a lot and you often get overwhelmed like really easily, try focusing on what you can control. So I'm going to share 9 simple things that you can control, right? They're in your control, and hopefully this just makes life a little easier, a little more peaceful. Okay, the first thing that you can control is your attitude. When you go into situations and maybe things happen that you weren't expecting, like, you can control if you're gonna lose your mind, which, like, it's hard, guys. Again, I'm preaching to the choir. I need to practice what I preach. Like, you can control that attitude. You can control if you're gonna snap back. Like, my biggest thing is, like, if someone has an attitude with me, like, I'm in a good mood, I'm enjoying my day, but then, like, you have an attitude with me, and, like, now I'm annoyed, but I can control that. I can't control, right? I can't control that person and how they're reacting to me, but I can control my reaction. So I can control that attitude if I choose to flip and, attack back, or, which is like I always want to. I'm like, oh my gosh, but then I try to be like, okay, kill them with kindness, guys. Kill them with kindness. The second thing that you can control is how you express your thoughts. So if you're someone who's not a great communicator, or at least that's the story you're telling yourself, I would work on that, because you're the one who can control what you're saying, and, like, whatever you're thinking, like, if you want to express it a certain way, like, that is in your control. I don't really have a better explanation for this one, to be honest. Like, the more I talk about it, the more I'm a little confused with what I'm even saying. But I just think that I don't know, like, that is something, again, that's ourselves. Like, that, no one else can be the one to do that. Like, it's just me. That also made 0 sense. We're going to move on to the third one, okay? The third thing you can control is how you interpret situations. So what I mean by this is how you react in situations. Like, it's better to respond rather than react. Let me give you an example, right? Someone's yelling at you, and, like, this is a very basic example, but you can obviously react. Like, now, like, your fight or flight is in, like, you're ready to yell back. Or you can take a second and think it over and then respond. Or, because, like, that could be an aggressive example. Like, people shouldn't be yelling at you. So maybe just use an example of, like, someone's telling you how to do something, and, like, for some reason, like, it triggers you, or, like, it's, like, it ticks you off. So now you're like, okay, you could just respond. Or wait, no. Yeah, you could just react, right? How you're reacting. Or you take a second, mull over the situation, and then respond when you're in, like, a better frame of mind. So really, again, work on how we respond to situations. Like, that is in our control. We can't control how someone else is going to respond, right? When we tell them something, right? If you do something or you decide to move to a different state, and, like, you can't control if someone else is going to be upset with you with that decision, but you can control, like, yourself and, like, how then you view that. And I think the biggest thing to remember is everyone is doing what they've learned, and, like, they're responding to situations based on how they grew up and their values, and, like, you can't change that. Like, you can't make someone respond a different way. So work on, again, like, that's why I try to work on what I can control, which is, like, how I respond. The next one that you can control is how you take care of yourself. So, like, that is in your control. How you get up in the morning, and maybe you do a self-care routine, or maybe you like to journal, you like to work out, how you're eating. Like, this is in your control to an extent. Like, I know it's a privilege to say that, and I know people have, families to take care of and things of that sort. So, you have to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but how you care for yourself, like, that's all up to you. So you can't always play the victim. Like, it's easy to play the victim, and that's fine at first, but then, like, you need to take control of the situation, and if there's something you want to change it. Okay, the fifth one that you can control is how many times a day you smile. And I often forget this one. I even forgot that I wrote this one down. I had to look, because Guys, like, so much is going on in the day. And it's so easy, like, these all, like, mix together in a way. It's so easy to just be annoyed, and then, like, that sticks with you for the whole day. And I think we always just forget, like, we have free will. Like, you can laugh at jokes that you think are funny. You can smile at random strangers. Like, do a little act of kindness every day. I'm trying to work on doing one compliment to a stranger every day. Like, not a forced compliment, though. Like, something that you say in your head, but you don't say out loud. Like, sometimes I'll pass someone, and, like, they have super cool pants on. Like, they're super cute. And I'm like, wait, I love that color. And it's like, okay, why don't I say that? Like, because that might make that person's day. Like, you don't know. And even, like, little things, like holding the door open. Like, if it's something so simple and easy to you, like, that you're like, oh, I don't have to do it. It's like, well, maybe do it. And then, like, that could just make the other person's day. And, like, I don't know, maybe that will make you smile. So, yeah, this one's just about smiling more, because life is already so stressful. Like, why does everyone take life so seriously? Like, let's just enjoy it a little bit. Let me live. The next thing that is in your control is what you do with your spare time. Again, this goes back to the free will. Like, I think we always forget that we can do whatever we want with our free spare time. So, for instance, like, get some hobbies. Like, especially if you don't enjoy your work that you're doing, try to do something outside of work, because, I don't know, again, like, that could be something you look forward to. So, like, for some people, this is cooking, maybe joining, like, a little sports league. Like, that would be a lot of fun. My mom loves to bowl. Everyone has, like, their little niche thing, and something, again, that, like, works for me might not work for someone else. And I just think that we forget that, like, we're in control of this time. So if you want to spend it, like, scrolling TikTok for hours, that's fine, but, like, that's in your control. So just be like, if that's what you want to do, great. But, like, if you're someone who maybe then you just get into, like, a little, like, I was gonna say mud. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but, like, I don't know, you're just down, like, kind of feeling, like, depressed. If you're doing that every single day, like, you're in control of this spare time. So, like, maybe try doing something else. Try going for, like, a little walk. Or I saw this thing on TikTok where people were, like, collecting flowers and then putting flowers in, like, a card. That's kind of a bad explanation. Like, they were making a pot. Like, they took a card and they, like, made all these dots, like, poked holes. So they took a card, poked holes, and then they cut these little flowers and, like, put the flowers in and made a bouquet on the card. Like, I don't know, little things like this, guys. Like, this is your spare time. If you want to go learn how to knit, like, you do it, girl. Like, I don't know, it's up to you. Another thing that's in our control is how often we practice gratitude. So this one I have to work on as well. And this could be by, again, writing down things you're grateful for, or at the end of the day, just reflecting on, like, a few things that happened throughout the day that you're grateful. Or, I mean, I've heard someone say that a good gratitude practice is actually, like, thinking back to a time where you received gratitude. Where someone said they were grateful for you, or, like, there was an instance where someone demonstrated something that showed they were grateful for you. And, like, that's a cool thing to think about too. I think about the time, like, one of my friends made this playlist for me of songs that, like, she thought I'd love. And, like, I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful for that, because, like, that's so sweet. Or when someone sends you a song, they're like, this reminded me of you. I'm like, aw, like, it always warms my heart. It makes me smile. It makes me grateful. So just remember that you are in control of how much gratitude you're having every day. The 8th thing that's in your control is how often you give time to appreciate life. And this one's important because I don't think we realize, I mean, until it happens to someone we know, how precious life is. Like, people are dying every day. And, like, sometimes it's expected, and other times it's very unexpected. And I mean, we just need to be grateful for every day we have here, really, is what I'm coming to. Like, I always forget how short life is. Like, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, how am I 20? I'm 22 right now, but my birthday's next week, so 23 almost. And sometimes I'm like, where did times go? Like, I should be 14, 15. Like, man, and, like, just life is so precious. And then, like, when it's taken from us, that's when it hits us, and we realize, like, well, maybe I shouldn't have overthink. You know, I shouldn't have overthink, that's not a word. I shouldn't have been overthinking, this situation, or like stressing out so much about X, Y, Z, because it's like, okay, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that deep. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know. I just think I personally stress about a lot of things that I need to, like, let go of, because life is precious. And, like, this is in our control to, like, just remember that and, like, live every day how you want to live it, because you don't know what day is going to be your last. Okay, the last thing that I wrote that you are in control of is how much effort you put forth. So now this could be effort in like friendships, your family, relationships, effort in your appearance, like just effort in general at work, in life, everything. Like, you are in control of that. So I think, and sometimes like it could be empowering, I guess it could be scary, but if you want to slack off, be lazy, like, okay, but like just remember, like, that's your choice. And if you really want to work hard and give it your all, like, that's in your control. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes the US has like a bad work balance. Not sometimes, all the time. Like, for the most part, everyone's just working. And it's like, okay guys, like, let's breathe and try to enjoy life. But I don't know, I think we need to find the happy in between, because I'm someone who really values a good work ethic, and it's like frustrating to me to see when people, I guess, don't work hard, or like, I don't like to surround myself with people that don't have good work ethics, because like, you are who you surround yourself with. And I don't know, it's cool though when there's someone though, like, sometimes you need that friend, I think, that like balances that out. Like, maybe I'm pushing them to work harder, but then they're pushing me to like enjoy life, and that's really special. So these were the 9 things that I think are in your control, and there's so many more I'm sure you can come up with. If you want to comment any down below, feel free. But I know I try to do this because in a world like we live in today, there's just so much out of our control. We can't really help what's happening in the world or in the other countries. Like, I don't know, like, sometimes it weighs on you. And again, you can't control other people. So it's like, you might as well try to control yourself as much as we try to control the people around us and, how they're acting and whatnot. Like, you just can't. And that's why it's like, I really try to be like very reflective with how I react to things, because like that's my big one, because that's in my control. But again, there's so many other things. Like, I gave some examples of what is in your control, and it is cool to look at it that way, because there's so much more in our control than we think, even though a lot of times we feel out of control. So I think in these times that you feel out of control, you feel overwhelmed, you're like, oh my gosh, like, bring it back to like, hey, what can I control? What can I do today to make myself feel a little bit more at peace? And yeah, those were my examples. Tune in the rest of the week for some more videos. Comment any ideas you want me to talk about, or vlogs. Always open to, suggestions. Anyways, love you!